Hi guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. So if you didn't see my post on YouTube and on Instagram, then I'll fill you in real quick for what today's video is going to be. So today I'm going to be reacting to your guys' theories that you put in the comments, and also the most popular theories for Outer Banks season 4 that I've seen on TikTok, on Google and everywhere basically. I'll also be going through my takes on each of your theories and maybe some counter theories or like theories built upon your ones. By the time this comes out, season 4 will literally be out tomorrow. I can't believe like we waited so long and all of a sudden it's like here. It's so exciting and I'm so excited to see the show and everything they've done with it for season 4. So there's a couple of theories that were definitely reoccurring across all platforms and a load of comments as well. We'll also be going through his episode names because even though they were leaked ages ago, they did get confirmed last week. But this is being filmed on Sunday, so anything that happens Monday through Wednesday in terms of content is not included here because this is being filmed on Sunday. Okay, so let's start off with the big one, the main one that I've been seeing across literally everywhere. The JJ and Sarah siblings theory. So this comes from Hearts for Kenley. Since they said JJ is going to be the main character in this season, I feel like it's a perfect moment to tell us more about JJ and to maybe jump into the Sarah and JJ sibling allegations. So that's been a theory since literally season 1 and nothing's been addressed in terms of JJ's or Sarah's mum yet. So it would definitely be interesting if we were to address that. And seeing as episode 7 is called Mothers and Fathers, I think that would be a cool time to dive into it. In terms of the theory itself, it's a very interesting one. I don't know how that would play out for those characters. I mean, Madeline Klein said herself she loves that theory.
Personal theories was, what if JJ's mom came back and it was also Rafe and Sarah's mom?
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool.
Oh no.
Secret siblings, twins separated at birth. I don't know.
I just, in my head, like picturing how that would play out for Sarah and JJ and their bond, and even Rafe as well, because JJ and Rafe do not like each other. You know, none of the Pogues really like Rafe. So it'd definitely be interesting to see that dynamic, and it could maybe potentially explain why Rafe is with them in Morocco once again. We're already speculating he's trying to get closer to Sarah again, but maybe he's trying to build some sort of brotherly relationship with JJ. I don't know, like that would seem extremely odd seeing as there is a clip of JJ punching Rafe, but could also be an interesting dynamic to see. I'd love to see more scenes with them together because their dynamic is just so interesting. There were many comments about the JJ and Sarah sibling thing, and those comments also came with stuff to do with JJ's dad, Luke. I think that episode 7, Mothers and Fathers, is gonna be around JJ. I think that the sibling theory could be true, or maybe just a new plot we get about his mom and his dad's relationship. I think we all kind of know by now Luke is coming back. I mean, it's going to be so interesting for the storyline, but I just don't need the stress of him being there. But they acted so well together, season 1 and season 2. Rudy and Gary, I think it's Gary Weeks is his name, who plays Luke, just acted so well together. And it was so, their scenes were so intense, and Gary portrayed being a bad guy really well and made us all hate him, and that's what we were supposed to do. I'm scared for everyone, not just JJ, not even just Kie, everyone, because you never know what this guy's gonna do. He's very unpredictable. I feel like we don't know enough about him yet, so I think that's why that episode will be focused around JJ. So Mary Ava said, yay, so since episode 7 is called Mothers and Fathers, my theory is that Luke is going to come back, maybe with JJ and Sarah's mum, and maybe Luke told JJ all his life that his mum died or some kind of lie, so when JJ finds out that his dad was lying to him all the time and his mum was really alive, he's going to be really mad, and maybe that's why he's acting out so much in the trailer. This theory also seems very far-fetched and probably isn't going to happen, but I don't know, maybe. I hope JJ and Sarah are half siblings, lols. I hope they're half siblings too, and I don't think it's far-fetched. Nothing really is far-fetched when it comes to Outer Banks. I think we've seen literally everything that could happen. It's very unpredictable at many times, so it's not far-fetched. We'll see what happens. Everyone seems to be in the same boat with the JJ and Sarah sibling thing, and I'm definitely intrigued to see if they do that. It's never really been a theory that I've been like thinking it's gonna happen, not until now. Like now I'm like, no, they seriously could do something with this and make it really interesting for both characters and their bond, because everyone loves JJ and Sarah together, like as that sibling or even just friend duo. Everyone's always kind of really had a soft spot for them, so I think it'd be really cool to build upon that, especially maybe in the terms of even relationship advice. Like, no one really knows John B better than JJ, and Sarah knows Jiara pretty well. She's seen her throughout her whole cute care and everything, so maybe they could help each other out when they're going through a tough time in the relationship. Although it sounds like Sarah and John B aren't experiencing relationship tough times this season, which is so good. I'm so happy. And then this next comment's from It's Not Mom, It's Sam, whose comments I've seen all the time and I love all of them. Can I just say shout out to you? Based on what they said about JJ being almost like the main character this season, I think they're bringing back that one rumour / line people had of him, or better yet, that one lady cop and what she said to JJ, which I think we all know kind of stuck with him, which was, you'll come back some way or another, you're going to end up here, just like your father. The amount of times JJ's been compared to his dad is actually wild, because even John B said it at one point, like, you're acting just like your father, or it was like in season 1 when he went to steal from Barry's house, and I was just like, why would you say that to him as his best friend after knowing what his dad's put him through? He's nothing like his father, and Kie is the only one to have ever said he's nothing like his dad. He's nothing like his dad. No, that's a lie. I think Pope said that too, actually. Do you think I remember Pope saying that at one point? I can't remember specifically when. Maybe it was when he got arrested for him, or maybe when Hayward was talking to him at Midsummer's, before Midsummer's, maybe that was it. But Kie said even last season, he's nothing like his father, don't compare him to that piece of shit. I agree with you here. I think it would be really good for them to bring back that line and address it and put it to bed entirely, because the comparisons between JJ and his dad are so unnecessary and actually so inconsiderate of him as a character. He's such a great character. Don't compare him to a horrid guy, you know? I do think that mothers and fathers will have a outline where it's more about how the relationships of the mum and dad has affected their kid. So the relationship with JJ's mum and dad has had its effect on him and why he is the way he is. Oh yeah, by the way, episode names, if you guys haven't seen already. Episode 1 is called the Enduro, which is the dirt bike race. Episode 2 is Blackbeard. Episode 3 is the Lupine Corsairs. I'm definitely saying that wrong. Episode 4 is The Swell. Episode 5 is Albatross. Episode 6 is The Town Council. Episode 7, Mothers and Fathers. Episode 8, Decision Day. Episode 9, The Storm. Episode 10, The Blue Crown. Speaking of JJ, because might as well get it out of the way while we're here, another theory I keep seeing is that JJ's going to die this season. And people are coming up with the randomest excuses for why this is going to happen, and personally, I don't see this happening. I saw people saying that because I think one of the Pate brothers unfollowed Rudy, or vice versa, or Rudy said that his contract ran out, or something like that, or Rudy asking for his character to be killed off, that's why JJ's going to die. Speculation! Like, guys, let's group together some facts first, and I just think that personally for me, I don't see anyone really dying in Outer Banks until potentially the last season, as in not of the core 6. That's what I mean. I just personally don't see that happening, because Outer Banks wouldn't be Outer Banks with all 6 of the Pogues. Like, it wouldn't be it. And so if you were to get rid of one of those characters prematurely before the end of the last season, then I just don't think the show would feel the same. And I think that not that people would stop watching because of a loss of a character, because like the concept of the show is incredible and that's why people watch it. For the characters as well, of course for the characters as well, but also just like the premise of the show is good. But if you get rid of one of those characters, the premise of the show changes. It's not the same anymore. And I think people would struggle to feel that same way again, you know? Sorry, I just had to change the battery, so sorry if there is a bit of an angle change. But yeah, so when I was searching up the most popular theories for Outer Banks Season 4, basically every character's death was a theory. There was John B, there was Sarah, Cleo. I think the only people I didn't see that for was Kie or Pope, but JJ was the one I saw it for most. Everyone's like, JJ's gonna die, JJ's gonna die. And I think it's the same energy as when people say Steve Harrington's gonna die in Stranger Things Season 5, which, because it's Season 5, is it Season 5? Yes, because it's Stranger Things Season 5 and it's the last season, it's confirmed to be the last season, I could see that happening. But when everyone was saying he was going to die in Season 3, or when he was going to die in Season 4, I was like, No, he's not. Because if it's a last season, could totally see that happening. Because what difference does it make to us? It would be freaking sad. We'd cry and sob, but we're not seeing another season then without him. And that's the same belief I have for Outer Banks. They're not going to kill off JJ, like, especially when JJ's one of the most beloved characters. I love all those characters, but if we're talking about everyone, he's one of the most beloved characters. And to get rid of that character, it would just change the whole premise of the show. I think it would give a lot of depth to a lot of the other character storylines, so that's why I would low-key be behind seeing a death of one of the main characters, even if it wasn't one of the Pogues, just one of the main characters that's relation to them. I think it would bring so much more depth to some characters. I'd love to see that being tackled in terms of acting, but not until like the last season. Not this season, gosh, unless this is the last season. We haven't had a confirmation of season 5 and 6 yet, but I'm pretty sure everyone's kind of certain season 5 is going to happen. By the time this comes out, we probably would have had confirmation. So y'all know more than me right now. In terms of JJ's death and that theory, it's not something that I personally believe is going to happen. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Rafe, and funnily enough, Steve from Stranger Things is also mentioned in this comment. This comment was by Books and Sabrina Carpenter. Okay, so hear me out. Since Ward's dead and stuff, Rafe will change, since before Rafe used to be completely influenced by Ward. What if Rafe's arc starts to change and it's like Steve in Stranger Things, where he goes from a total arse to a favourite character? So I've seen a couple other comments about a Rafe redemption, and to compare it to Steve, I think it's not quite the same. Just because with Steve, he was an arsehole in season 1, but his arseholery was never murder or attempted murder. So it's a bit different level of arseholery, and so his redemption wasn't as difficult to process, and it was only for like 3/4 of season 1, then he was good by the end of season 1. Rafe's been a little shit for 3 whole seasons. So for him to have any sort of successful redemption would take him being possessed by the ghost of a good person. I personally don't see so much of a Rafe redemption. I definitely see him helping out the Pogues, 100%, but I don't think it would be sincere. I don't think it would be to be nice. I think he would be gaining something from that situation, because that's just the type of character he is. I was watching the other day the making of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, because honestly, if you can't reach me, it's because I'm watching the making of something. I'm always watching the behind the scenes of TV shows and movies and how they're created, and especially like the actors' take on their characters, because I love acting, if you guys couldn't tell. And so I love learning more about acting and how people will approach a character, and also the filmmaking process. I find it so interesting. And so I was watching the making of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, which is the 3rd movie of the prequels. It's the last prequel movie, and there was interviews with Hayden Christensen, who plays Anakin Skywalker, who is a very well-known morally grey character, and I found Hayden's approach to Anakin, especially in the Revenge of the Sith film, so similar to Drew's approach to Rafe. Obviously, with Rafe, he's less morally grey, more than just morally bad. Like, you know, he has some morally grey tendencies, though, the way that he did everything he did to prove himself to his father. Like, his motivations do have morally grey tendencies, but as a character I think he's leaning more towards just kind of bad guy. But then again, like, no, I think maybe he is just a morally grey character. Maybe he's just morally grey. Yeah, I was watching that and it just reminded me, their approaches to those characters reminded me of each other, and even just like the characters themselves shared some similarities in terms of motivation, and you know, that father-son relationship that Rafe has with Ward that's quite toxic, and then the father-son relationship that Anakin has with Palpatine, very toxic, and influence them really badly. Like, those fatherly figures influence them terribly. But yeah, I kind of found that quite interesting. I think those characters are definitely comparable at some times. And that brings me on to some other theories I've seen. JJ punches Rafe because he's jealous of Rafe and Kie. As much as I would love to see a jealous, protective JJ, I'm so ready for that. That'd be amazing. It's not gonna be over Rafe and Kie, because there is no Rafe and Kie. I'm so sorry. I know there's so many Riara stans, and I completely respect your opinion, and I hope you also respect mine. Jiara, the girl that literally stayed back to save a guy from a sinking plane who had betrayed them. She went back and saved him and got herself kidnapped. Rafe is Rafe. Like, they're never, like, I get the whole enemies to lovers, but it only works when you're kind of at least close to being as bad as each other. He's just a really bad guy and Kie would not go for that. In my head, I also kind of support the idea of that maybe in her cook year, maybe something did happen before he kind of showed his true colours. Like, I could definitely see that, and it'd be really great to go into that. I know that there was 2 girls seen on set playing a younger Sarah and Kie. Maybe we will get to see some of that. That'd be really interesting. Other than that, no Riara, no, it's not. In my opinion, it's not. Okay, this comment is about the Jiara bomb, which when mentioned to Madison Bailey in an interview, she was like, what?
But the creator has said there's a bomb coming. We already know there's something. Did you hear this?
No.
No. Your words, not mine.
Maybe they've made this bomb for Jiara to actually be just a bomb for JJ, which then evidently affects Kiara and their relationship. But that bomb for JJ could totally be the sibling thing, or maybe something different. Who knows? But this comment is about that bomb for Jiara, and it's once again from It's Not Mom, It's Sam. I'm hoping that I say that right. Hoping I'm saying all the usernames right. Apologies if I'm not. I think that instead of a bomb for Jiara's relationship, it will be more external, like how you said in your last video, and will be more about maybe losing the other person in a terrible way, but in a way where one of them thought that they definitely lost them, like it was actually the end, since we know they've almost lost each other many times before, but this one was just different maybe. And I'm thinking that it could also have to do with disagreements where, like you also said in the video, that Kie was more hesitant to accept the deal, whereas JJ wasn't, and in fact he was ready for another adventure, since that's all he's ever known. To be honest, for JJ, if he's more leaned into doing it, it's probably because it's something so different and something that he actually loves and maybe distracts him from his shitty life back home where he doesn't even have a house to go to anymore. I agree with so many of those things. I think that the bomb for them could definitely be related to like losing each other at certain points or going through like some traumatic experiences together as the 2 of them, more than they already have been. And it could maybe just cause a shift of being like, I don't want to lose you, so I'm not going to put you in harm's way anymore. So we're going to step back and like, I think that would probably be more from JJ to Kie than Kie to JJ. But like, Kie's involved anyway. She's always going to be involved no matter what he says. But I think he has so much more involvement this season that he's almost like, I don't want to get you involved in what could hurt you. Just those disagreements in how they should go about plans and things as well makes so much sense. But also in a recent interview with Madison Bailey and Madeline Klein, Madison Bailey was talking about Jiara, and same with JJ, same with Rudy, he was also talking about Jiara in this certain way. So Madison Bailey said that she's a writer, Kiara's a writer, and it's just her having a soft spot for JJ's shenanigans.
Kiara having a soft spot for his shenanigans, yeah, because Kiara's a writer.
It sounds like maybe they are going to be on the same page, maybe after he has some convincing of her, like he'll convince her to be on the same page. And Rudy referenced their relationship by saying JJ's learning that there's a responsibility that comes with a relationship, and he's learning how to adapt to that and be for Kiara what he wants to be for her.
Friends is one thing, relationship brings responsibility, and I think JJ, responsibility, it's, you know, he's learning that. I think that's what this season shows, is that JJ's, you know, finding how to, if he can be that, more responsible.
I feel like I've worded that wrong. Rudy definitely worded it way better in the interview. I'll link the interviews down below so you guys can go watch them. There's also one with Jonathan Davis and Carlicia Grant, who plays Cleo, and also Jonathan Davis, who plays Pope. Those are also, I'll link all of those. There's lots of interviews out there, but I'll only link the ones with, I think the channel was called Extra or Extras. I'll link those ones below. Okay, so next comments are about Topper, and so Mary Ava said this is going to be the start of Topper's villain arc, and he's going to be the main villain of the season. And It's Not Mom, It's Sam said, I have a theory that Topper is going to get involved in this whole treasure hunting thing, and maybe even most likely join Rafe and possibly get to the point of shooting at them and killing whoever gets in their way, based on the trailer. I personally don't think he's going to be the main villain, just because I don't think he's enough of a threat. Like, we've coexisted with Topper for 3 seasons, and for him to now be the main villain that comes to the point of potentially killing the Pogues, it just doesn't really make sense. Like, he doesn't like seem big enough a threat. I think he'll still be his villainous self in like that petty way, especially towards the beginning of the season with the Enduro and with Land being sold back to the council from the Pogues. I think he'll definitely be that petty villain that he's always been, but main villain, I don't really think he has main villain potential. He doesn't really have main villain potential, so I couldn't really see that, but I think maybe he will have more of involvement with the treasure hunting. I'm not sure. So that's it in terms of all of the commented theories from what I could see anyway. And then there's 2 other theories that I kind of found through looking online. One of those is Sarah/Jiara pregnant allegations. For Sarah, I don't know why people really just had this thought process during filming, especially that Sarah was pregnant. And for Kie, they kind of based it off of that interview with Rudy where he was talking about how JJ's learning this responsibility that comes with being in a relationship and being a boyfriend, and people kind of related that to Jiara potentially being pregnant. I don't think that's what he meant. Personally, I just don't see that happening for either characters. With the activeness that's required of filming this show, for a character to be pregnant, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, maybe end of season, like it's the big announcement at the end of season, they're all happy and end happy because like, oh my god, having a baby. If anyone, that would be Sarah and John B, just because of how long they've been in a relationship, but I still don't see it personally. I just don't see it for this show. Like, people are always rooting for these pregnancy tropes. Go for it, guys. Love it. I don't think we'll see it this season. Maybe last season. Maybe. I personally just don't see it this season for either of those characters. Another theory, the last theory I saw was Cleo in danger or getting more backstory. I am all for the getting more backstory in Cleo. I really want to learn more about her, understand her past. It would be so interesting. And with the clips from the trailer we've seen, mostly of her being in distress and kind of on edge almost, it would make so much sense that we get a bit more look into her backstory. Maybe someone from her past shows back up and is there, and it brings some sort of like turmoil to her character. Maybe she tries to deal with it on her own at first, but then opens up to the other Pogues about it. I mean, we know that there's a time when she is obviously in like major danger, but that could just be a passing moment. I mean, we've seen in trailers prior that there's a point where the characters are like they're in major danger. It's like, oh my god, this is gonna be the end of that character, and it actually just happens in episode 2 and they walk off absolutely fine. So trailers can definitely be deceiving, especially when it comes to Outer Banks. That's kind of it in terms of the theories I saw. The show comes out tomorrow for you guys. I'm so excited. I'll be doing a review, I think, next week of part 1 anyway, and I'm just so excited. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the video. I'm thinking of doing this style of video on other shows such as Stranger Things season 5 or any other shows you want to see me do it on, in terms of reacting to your theories but also having some of my own and just talking about those shows in general, because I really enjoy it. You know, like I said, I enjoy the whole filmmaking, TV making process, and any chance to yap about different characters or things like that I will take because I love it. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. I hope you guys will enjoy part 1 when it comes out tomorrow. My DM's always open for discussions. And yeah, thank you so much for the support on the last couple of videos especially. It's been so amazing to see all the comments and everything. And I hope to see you guys next week. Love ya.
Love you. Bye.
Love ya.